Never resign, folks. Never resign. In this game, I began with g4 because I wanted to have some fun. The Grob is the worst opening in chess, according to Stockfish, but we're not Stockfish. This game definitely illustrates that point, that we're not Stockfish. d5. The most common move is bishop to g2, trying to take advantage of the long diagonal with c4 and queen b3. However, I played h3. He took the entirety of the center. Bishop g2, c6. Now, I have a warning to all of you. Do not play like this. This will not get you anywhere. You're supposed to take the center with your two center pawns, if possible. You're supposed to bring your knights out. You're not supposed to weaken your king. And why did I do this? Because sometimes you have to have fun in chess. So on the next two moves, I set up a small center versus a big center relationship. So whenever black pushes, I push, and same for the other side. It's almost like a hippo. I actually tried to put my knights on e2 and d2. And after I put my knight on e2, I also blundered a pawn because I cut off my queen's defense of the g4 pawn. I put a knight on d2. I mean, this position is terrible. How does anyone survive this? He played knight d7, and I played king to f1, trying to keep the rook active. I mean, when you have to play king f1, you know your position is bad. Knight f6, queen to e1, sliding out of the pin. Castles. f3. f3 attacks the bishop. Now, it can be defended if you're cheeky, knight to e8, and if they take the bishop, you take the king, but this is not a capture the king variant. He went bishop h5. Knight g3, bishop g6. And then I played c4, blundering another pawn, and then another pawn. I am down 3 pawns. The lesson of this game is, as I said in the intro, never resign. I'm going to show you how tenaciously I played, and how my opponent eventually blundered. So I played knight b1, with the intention of going to c3 to guard some important squares. He played knight d5. I played knight c3 and traded off his knight. I took with the b pawn because I wanted to potentially gain some counterplay against this diagonal. I also wanted to potentially control some dark squares here. I wanted to set up a blockade. He went knight f6, trying to go here. And you guess what I did? Yes, prophylaxis. Very long word, but it means stopping your opponent's threats. I prevent him from going there. We are here. I go bishop e3. He plays this. I trade. I go queen f2. He trades. Now we're in an endgame, and it should be easy to win this. First of all, he can take this pawn because it's pinned. He can take it with the bishop or the knight. However, he played rook a d8, and I noticed the pin, so I played king to e3. And suddenly, it's not that easy to win. The bishop is kind of stuck on d3. It went there on the 13th move of the game. And I'm wondering how it's going to get out. Knight d7. I played rook to h5, preventing knight to c5. Very annoying. He played g6, now we go back to h2. He played knight to c5, I go rook a h1. Rook f7. And then I play this very important bishop to h3, preventing the knight from advancing further because there would be bishop to e6. He played rook to e7. I played bishop to g4. Then he remembered about his bishop, and he tried to get it out. Uh-oh. Bishop h3 opened the rook's lines of attack to prevent the bishop from moving. He played knight to d3, which is the wrong move. He should have went in with the rook. However, he played knight d3. I played knight to e2. Again, preventing him from going to f4. He played knight c5. I went rook d2, offering him a trade of rooks. He played knight d3 again, and this was bad because of knight c1. And now I am for sure regaining a pawn because my bishop stops rook d7, which would defend the knight. We trade into this endgame, and I slowly converted it. Rook goes to f4. I check. I trade one pair of rooks. It is very important that when you're trying to win an endgame, you trade one pair of rooks. Sometimes two. In this case, two is very acceptable. But most of the time, one. And you can see that he's already getting low on time. Look at his time. It's under 1 minute. h5, bishop h3, king f6. I check. The king runs forward. I offer a trade of rooks. He does not accept, which is probably the best practical decision. I take this pawn. I put the bishop back on f1, probably hoping he'd resign so I could set up the pieces for the next game. I'm joking, no. King g3, I gave a check. I put the rook on g2. He plays g5, I threaten a checkmate. He plays g4, I check. I trade. I go rook g2. And a couple moves later, he ran out of time. The lesson of this game is that even when you're down 3 pawns, have a completely shattered king defense, have completely undeveloped pieces, never resign. Thank you for watching.